so we're starting the event now.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for taking the time to join us this evening to hear some more information about AUEA. I want first of all to say congratulations, because if you are joining us tonight, it means that your son or daughter has been successful in securing a place here at AUEA for September 2021. Now, we do apologise that we weren't able to run a live event for you this evening as we had originally planned, but unfortunately, due to the regulations regarding the new outbreak of the Delta variant in Birmingham, that's why we have to do an online event for you this evening. However, we have got some key dates for you for your diary, and I'll tell you those now. The first one is the 1st of July. So on the 1st of July, we will be having a virtual evening where you can log on to meet the tutors. So you will shortly be getting some information from us where you'll find out who your tutor is for your son or your daughter, and you'll also get the opportunity to meet some of the other staff here at AUEA. So that will be on the 1st of July, and that information will be sent out to you shortly in an invitation from Mrs. Walkland. We've also organised some events for induction. So if you can save the dates, the 31st of August and the 1st of September, that's where we will be holding our induction days for year 9, who are starting in September. Now, with me this evening on the sofa is my colleague, Miss Hussein. I'm going to hand over to her shortly. And for those of you who don't know who I am, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Ruth Acton. I'm one of the assistant principals here at AUEA, and I'm in charge of everything to do with pastoral welfare and safeguarding. Miss Hussein.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Miss Hussein. I am the head of year for year 9. So I'm just going to give you a bit of information here today. So shortly in the post, you will be receiving your enrolment pack. So it's very important that you fill out all the information that's required here and send it back to us. You will also be receiving your parent handbook, which has loads of information regarding life here at AUEA. In regards to uniform, this can be purchased from Clive Marks, the King's Eve branch. We will also be sending out a Clive Mark voucher with 15% off, so you can buy all your uniform from there. So it's a charcoal grey uniform that's required, so charcoal grey trousers for the boys and for the girls, skirts below the knees, just above the knees if possible, no shorter than that. Shoes, so we're quite strict, no trainer-like shoes, have to be business shoes, and it's a grey polo shirt with the fleece. So it's quite important about the uniform. No fake lashes, fake nails, no big jewellery. So strict business wear as if you were going to work is required, please. So look forward to seeing you shortly, soon.
Thank you, Miss Hussein. So when you get that information in the post, make sure you read the instructions carefully with regards to all the information regarding business dress. Now, we're going to give you the opportunity to see some of AUEA this evening. So I'm going to hand over now to our roaming reporter, Mr. Lockweeton, the school principal, and he'll fill you in on some more information.
Good evening, parents. Good evening, Year 9 students. It's a pleasure to have you virtually here in the building. Obviously, we're incredibly disappointed that we can't have you here physically at the moment, but I just reassure you that we're working really hard with the local public health to ensure that we can get you in here as quickly as possible, and more importantly, looking at those provision of your graduated start at the end of August and into September to ensure we give you lots of opportunities to feel really settled into the academy. Most importantly, over the next few weeks, you'll also be seeing staff coming out to visit you in your schools as well, because we can come to you and catching up, and there'll be other events, including our Wonder Online event, where you can actually meet your teachers and your tutors and the really key people of AUEA and have those important conversations. So I'm here at the restaurant at the moment, one of the key areas of the school, popular with the students, obviously, where you have your breaks and your lunch times. And we're going to head through and we're going to talk about, I'm going to try and walk backwards and not trip over many chairs and tables. We're going to head into curriculum and talk about the curriculum. One of the things I'm really excited about this year is the change of additional of art into the curriculum. Art has been part of our product design for a long time. It's included graphical design, it's included architecture, it's included lots of different ways, but we're really delighted to say we've now got art as our main subject on the curriculum. So what we're doing from the next stage is to launch our art review, and you'll have the opportunities through the induction days to have a go at the art and use our brand new facilities. As we move towards September, one of the key things is the role of technologies that you will use. And what that means is you'll have the opportunity to join our VLE, which is Firefly. Now, what we have learned over the last 2 years is the value of the ability as parents to track what your child is doing in school. And likewise, students to be able to access your work any time of day and any location. And in fact, we were one of the very few schools very, very quickly that were able to move in the first lockdown, as I mentioned before, to online learning. So our aim will be to submit and give you these information and these passwords as soon as possible to get you on and learning and introduce you to your bridging and transition work. As we move into engineering, we can talk about some of the many projects that you'll be doing over your process of joining in Year 9. I'm delighted to say already we've got even more employers involved with the UTC, and this has rapidly increased, obviously, as we've seen the shortage and the need for those engineerings on the back of COVID, and also now we've got the absolute explosion of HS2 and the construction also linked into the Commonwealth Games. I was really proud to meet up with some of our alumni students, and I'll send you the links to those videos where I had a chance to interview them on 5-6 years after they'd left AUEA, or longer if they'd been with us all the way from Year 10, or like yourselves would be from Year 9, who were already working, having graduated from universities with really high degrees, who are now working in industry and even locally now working on hospitals and infrastructure and the Commonwealth Games right on the doorstep of where they live. And that for me is one of the most powerful signals of why we were set up here from 2012, serving the local community, educating and inspiring and developing your knowledge and skills to then go on and actually put back into the community locally as well. Some of the exciting things that have happened since I've last spoke to you, linked into engineering, is the role of Project Slingshot. Project Slingshot is our build plane, and previously you may have heard or you may have seen on our videos that we had a plane in our academy, and clearly there's no plane here today. And that is because our sponsorship with RAF Cosford has increased even further, and they've now allocated us a hangar and workshop at Cosford. So students now are able to go to Cosford in the sixth form, and I'll be linking lower down the school with Cosford to be able to participate in that plane build as well. So again, a really fantastic, unique opportunity that we see here at the UTC. One of the other things that we're seeing in September as we come back, and obviously not necessarily involved, for yourself to worry about, but for us as a staff is really working hard on, is clearly Ofsted. We are obviously frustrated with the COVID situation that we weren't able to get Ofsted in the last 2.5 or the last year to demonstrate the outstanding features and the work that we do here. And the Trust has already written to Ofsted, inviting them back in September to say, please do come and see us straight away, because we know and clearly can demonstrate with our visitors, with our inspectors that we have coming in, and through the DFE advisors we have, not only the good but the outstanding opportunities and facilities for you here and for your education and those outcomes. So I'm delighted and looking forward to that coming up in September. We've got lots of other projects on the moment. We're currently bidding for an expansion on the side of the school for providing extra specialist facilities as well. And I'll keep you abreast of that as we move over into the next 6 months and into the new academic year, as well as the partnership not only with Aston University, but the role of Warwick University now and the opportunity of joining together on a technical multi-academy trust. So a huge amount has happened since I last spoke to you. I'm really excited to have you here physically. We look forward to having you in the building, and I'll be talking to you a little bit later about some of the opportunities. So heading back over to Miss Acton in the studio.
Thank you, Ms. Lockweeton. Mrs. Hay?
Okay, so I just want to talk to you a bit about how life is here at AUEA. So as a head of year, I will be, along with your learning review tutor, the main point of contact between school and home. So parents I'll be speaking to you be either myself or your child's learning review tutor. So we have a few key expectations here at AUEA, which we will go into more detail when you come into school. So respectfulness. We want you to be respectful to your to the staff members and to your fellow peers. Punctual. It's quite important that you attend school on time and attend your lessons on time. Attendance. Attendance is very important to us here at AUEA, so it's very important that you attend school every day. Just a quick message about phones. So we are a non-phone school, and when you come into school, we expect your phone to be switched off, and then you can put that on at the end of the day. It may sound, a bit daunting, a bit overwhelming, but we are getting you ready for the real working world. So employers are looking for someone who is, presentable, punctual, and ready to make a difference. So we want to get you ready for that. So when you go into the working world, you are ready for the working world and how it is.
Thank you, Ms. Hussain. So I would like to talk a little bit about the transition process as your child is moving forward into AUEA over the next few months. We do take a lot of care in making sure that we have all the pertinent and the relevant information regarding your son or daughter. So when you apply, we set up a profile for every individual child. We ask for information about your previous reports, and then when you've had your place offered, what we then do is we request further information from your child's current school so that we've got the full picture of academic progress that your son or daughter has made where they currently are in their current school. Now, Mr. Lock-Wheaton's already mentioned that we will be coming out to meet some of the schools and to get some more information from them regarding your son or daughter. So that's important because we want to make sure that we've got every stone and we've gone underneath every nook and cranny so that we find out all the information that's relevant so that actually we've got programs in place to support your son or daughter when they come to AUEA. That being said, when you arrive at AUEA, we also do baseline tests. So we use those baseline tests to give us an academic level of where your son or daughter may be at currently. And we use those then to help us build even more of a picture as to what additional support or extra intervention will actually be required to help them to make rapid progress here at AUEA. In the induction days, when you attend those in August and on the 1st of September, we're going to be doing all sorts of events, team building events with the CCF and the police cadets. We're going to be doing an engineering competition. We're going to be introducing you to some team building activities with your tutors and going for a tour so that you understand the fire, the health and safety procedures here at AUEA. So we hope that when you arrive ready to learn at the beginning of September, there'll be no problems whatsoever for your son or daughter. What's key for us is that we have that time with your son or daughter before they actually begin here at the beginning of September. So that's why the induction days are so important. It gives your son or daughter the chance to meet us as a pastoral team and to meet the staff and for us to meet them. We don't want them coming to AUEA feeling nervous or apprehensive or anxious in any way whatsoever. We're part of a bigger team, so we're part of the learner development team. We have a body of teaching assistants, the SENCO and another college leader assigned to us, as well as a school counsellor and a mentor. And all of us work very, very closely to ensure that we've got the right support packages in place for your son or your daughter. So please make sure, if you can, that it's important that you attend those induction days later on in the year so that we can get to meet your son or your daughter and get to know them really well. Now, I'm going to go back to Mr. Lock-Wheaton. He's somewhere else in the academy. Mr. Lock-Wheaton, are you there?
Okay, welcome back. I'm clearly doing my challenge Annika impression, and I'm sure parents don't understand what that means, and students don't have a clue. You can tell by the echo I'm somewhere a little bit different. It should be part of the quiz, this should be really, I'm the head teacher. But I'm down in the basement. The reason I'm talking to you now at this present with a very boring backdrop is in a moment I'm going to head down to all of our exciting new areas that we have in the academy. But I may cut out. So if I do cut out, you'll be classic with BBC, be given an interlude while you're passed back to my staff in the studio. So do apologise because the Wi-Fi may not extend down that way. But if you do get cut off and you want to see what I'm talking about, I'd really encourage you, if you haven't already, to get onto our website, go onto the virtual button, and when you click on the virtual on the menu, not only will you see all of our videos, you'll see lots of updates from myself, and from tomorrow you'll also see what I would call the traditional induction evening. And hopefully from tonight you've seen that we are very innovative, we do things differently here at AUEA. But from tomorrow you'll see the traditional presentation with me talking through the presentation tomorrow online for you. But also on that virtual section, you will find where you can take a walk around the school and you can see the school and you can go and visit all the classrooms. But you can also click on there and visit what's called our Cadet Development Centre. This is in our basement. This was funded by the Royal Air Force and the Cadet Development Fund, and it is used not only by the CCF students, but by all of our students to develop their wider leadership skills. What you should look at when you get down there, we shall see things like the climbing wall, the development area, and even the shooting range. So we'll give it a go. We may cut out or try our best. Okay, I'm going to look at my lovely cameraman to see if we've still got connection. Looks like we're good so far. So as we turn around here, what we'll see is hopefully we'll see the climbing wall fully funded and supported by, as I say, the Cadet Development Fund. And again, students can use this as part of recreational training, but also part of their leadership training as well within the academy. On the wall, you'll see just some of the imagery that represents some of the real core factors of why we work with the CCF, and meeting some leading professionals, some leads from the RAF across the entire country, and some very significant VIPs. And why is that important? Well, actually, one of the key things that make our students different, and I get the same thing said time and time again by employers, is that AUEA students understand how to speak professionally. They understand how to conduct themselves, and they come across confident, with resilience and with absolute determination in where they want to go. And that's what makes AUEA students stand out, and why I'm sure you've applied to come here as well. We'll keep heading a little bit further in. We may well cut out, as I said, but lots going on down here. So we've got, as I said, the climbing wall building area. So you'll see, for example, we've got many of the tyres, the barrels, the planks of wood, and here students will do team building and leadership challenges. We head through to where we've got two phenomenal £10,000 flight simulators. These are full flight simulators where you can put on your 3D equipment. I'll show you. So we've got full 3D ability to fly, not only a classic handset, but full control surround virtualization in terms of learning how to fly a plane, and the training is part of that. And again, that's supported by by the RAF and their support in the cadet service. And finally, at the end here, we have our shooting range, again, which is used as part of our cadet service and also part of our additional skills as well. So hopefully something a bit different to you that you would normally see within a school, but opportunities that you wouldn't get anywhere else. And over the next year, you're also arriving at a really exciting time, because you are arriving in our 10th year. It seems incredible. We've been open that long, and I've been here since this was a car park. In fact, I stood here when this was a car park rather than it is now as our development centre. And I've been involved, as you know, every step of the way, supporting students and staff and parents. And I really look forward to doing that over the next 3 and 5 years with you. So back to the studio.
Thank you, Ms. Lutwheaton. And he's on his way back to the studio to join us to answer any questions that may have come in while we've been online. Now, we've had some questions already. So a couple of people have asked about what their child needs to wear for the induction day. Now, on the 31st of August, because of the amount of team building activities that your child would be doing, we would expect them at that point to be coming in their PE kit. We want them to be comfortable, so it's important that they come in their PE kit on the 31st of August. On the 1st of September, we would expect to see them in their school uniform. So it's PE kit on the first day and school uniform on the second day. Now, we've also had some questions about the school day and the times of the school day. Well, I can confirm that we would be expecting your son or daughter to arrive at AUEA promptly on time for 8:15 in the morning. There is a registration period at 8:30 AM, and that's a 10-minute segment with their tutor at the start of the day so that we can do an early morning registration. There is time further on in the day for the students to be with their tutor, and every day there is an opportunity for the students to meet their tutor at 10:20 until 10 to 11. So that's a really good segment of the day where we will be delivering literacy skills, we'll be covering the PHSE programme, we'll be doing careers work, we have assemblies in those times as well. And at the end of the day, we finish for Year 9 at 3 o'clock. However, there is an enrichment evening. So every Tuesday we have school clubs. So from 3 o'clock till 4 o'clock, we will be running enrichment activities for your son or daughter on a Tuesday evening. It may well be, though, that for some of you, there isn't a finish at 3 o'clock, because we will have found out through our baseline tests and through the work that the teachers do with you, whether or not your son or daughter will require any additional intervention. So we do run additional intervention from 3 o'clock until 4 o'clock on evenings throughout the week. Now, Miss Lockweeton has come back to the studio, so I'll ask him to come and join us. There's your chair. Take a seat.
Okay, well, I feel I've been interviewed now, and I'm certainly out of breath from running around the building. But I just wanted to highlight, obviously, about, first of all, I mentioned the virtual tours around the building, and of course you can go online and do that and see that. But I wanted to extend to you a couple of things. First of all, I'm available to do virtual tours and to take you around and do that in groups or to answer your questions. We can certainly do that opportunities, but we're also able, under the COVID rules, to bring you in small groups of 6 at a time. And again, and I know many of you have already taken up on that opportunity to do that. So so I'm just pausing for a second because you turned that off. You've got sound coming in, so turn your volume down. So it was all going perfectly. It was all going perfectly. We knew we'd get a hiccup at the very end to come through. So as I mentioned before, so tours. I know many of you already have taken the opportunity to come and do a tour around the academy, to come and meet some of the staff. But I wanted to really extend that opportunity now to make sure that every single person has had the chance, and every family has had a chance to come in and to meet with these fantastic staff that I have here, to have a chance to meet with me and to have that tour. And if you can't get here, we can do that virtually as well. So please do take that opportunity. Miss Acton's already mentioned, obviously, the days in August and how important those days are. Leading into that, then, as I mentioned earlier on, is our chat event, our online chat event using a special software called Wonder. Wonder is an online platform. It only can be used on a laptop or PC, so I'm really sorry about that. We'd really hoped it could be used on a phone or on a tablet, but unfortunately the software will only work on a PC or a laptop. And on that evening, you'll be able to virtually move around the room and literally bump into and go and visit teachers and students and chat to them and ask them about what is going on in the academy, what should you be thinking about before you start here, and what can really you do to have a fantastic start here. I'm not sure if anything I've missed and covered there.
No, we did have a question with regards to the enrolment fee. Just to remind everybody, the enrolment fee can be paid in September, so don't worry about it at the moment, because we would have maybe taken payment this evening had we been live and you could have come in. It is £35. Now, the enrolment fee covers the cost of printing credit, It covers the cost of us giving your son or daughter a lanyard, and on that lanyard they'll get a card, which is their ID card. Through the cost of the enrolment fee, they will get an additional card, and that's where you put all your payment. So we use a cashless system, and when your child comes to school for the induction process on the 1st of September, that's when we'll be taking their photographs and getting their ID cards ready for them so they can use the system when they start then the following week.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Often we get, not only is ID there for safety and obviously security, but as Miss Acton said, it is absolutely a very expensive smart card. Get some access through the key areas of the building they need to get access to as part of our security systems. It absolutely covers their payments for the catering system, but it's also what's used to access all their printing as well. What we actually do with that money therefore is to give your child as well £5 credit per term as we go forward as well, so it covers them to allow their printing, which of course they can top up if they use more. But as a very high-tech and digital school, we try and minimise the amount of printing that we have in the building, and it's all completed online. One of the other questions I had linked to that, obviously, was we talked about the uniform. We mentioned quite a lot tonight, and you'll notice on the news recently there's been quite a lot of review around business dress and uniform, and it's one of the things we've really taken into account. It's the reason why we have, and one of the questions we do get is coming tonight is, why is the Year 9 uniform different to the Year 10 and onwards? Because I thought students at AUEA wore suits. And they do, but of course, what we found, and more importantly, the suit is a very well valued suit. In fact, it works out pretty much the same price as a blazer and a school trousers you would in any other school. But we know that Year 9 students are growing, and therefore we wanted to make sure that the business dress for Year 9 was both flexible, but also could therefore be adapted and grow with them very quickly at a lower price. And therefore, at the end of Year 9, as you move in and graduate effectively from the lower school of Year 9, Key Stage 3, into your GCSE years, that's when you'll change to the suit. The PE kit there's a fully branded option. It's a fantastic sports material facility, but equally you're able to buy unbranded black and white clothes as well. So we really do consciously try and see where we can reduce those costs as well. Just looking at the last question, is just a reminder of how do I find out about those extra events, and that is very similar to tonight. It comes in via Eventbrite, so please do make sure you're keeping a track of Eventbrite as we go along to ensure that we are able to keep you up to date and move forward. My final thing as we move on, I think we might have a couple more questions just whizzing in. Glamorous lead here coming in. Let's have a quick look. Oh yes, fantastic. Okay, so do you have a breakfast club? Is a question that's been raised. So I'll pass it over to Miss Acton.
Well, we do have the learning review room, which is part of the LDC, which we're sat in tonight. We're sat in the school library. Now we have a wonderful school librarian who's also a counsellor for the sixth form students, Mrs. Rendell. Now what we do have is a breakfast club, and she normally is here 7:30 a.m. and we do allow some students to come into the academy. It has to be done by prior arrangement, so that we need to know if you're going to be here for 7:30 a.m. and she will sit with the students. They do reading, they do book club activities, so we have got the building open from 7:30 a.m. Now there is a Costa Coffee area, but it's not Costa Coffee anymore. We do have Aspens, which offers coffee and drinks. We don't tend to sell a lot of food in the mornings to students. They tend to normally pick up food on the way that they're coming in, but it could be arranged for them to have breakfast if that was required. We've also had another question with regards to the PE kit, and I'll answer that very quickly. What we would expect is a plain black top and plain black trousers if you don't buy the official PE kit. There is an official t-shirt, but it's fine to have a white t-shirt, but we do expect the students to wear black trainers for PE, and of course no black trainers for business dress. Okay, it has to be black leather shoes where possible.
What's been mentioned already, I know earlier as I was running around the building and clearly getting very sweaty in this hot weather, is the handbook. And in the handbook there's a very clear section on uniform, and I'm just going to reiterate that point because as Miss Acton's mentioned about shoes, because it's one of the biggest divisive things that upsets parents, because we know often these what we call, I refer to as hybrid shoes, where they're sort of, are they a trainer or are they a shoe? actually tend to cost a lot of money. We're talking £80 plus, and parents get very upset when they are led to believe they can wear those, and then they pay for them, and quite rightly when I start in the year I say unfortunately you can't wear that. So just really reiterating the fact that it's a smart business shoe. There's photographs there. I always say to students, you know, it's what you see a lawyer would wear. You know, it's about wearing a really smart business shoe, and there's photographs for you. A couple of questions now before we finish and we draw this to a close. One of the things come up, obviously, which is new, we've never talked about on these evenings before, is the clean air zone. So, you know, ultimately we all understand and value and can clearly see the importance of cleaning up the air around us. In fact, one of the reasons I'm so warm now is our building here is a sealed box. That means that we don't have windows that open because of obviously clearly the situation around Birmingham. That said, we understand the difficulties with the clear air zone coming in and the impact that can have on parents. So there is information available on our website and also in your pack that comes to you around the eligibility to see whether or not you'd be impacted by the clean air zone. The clear air zone runs actually along the line of our building. So effectively to the left of our building that way, for like an air hostess now, to the left of the building that way, you will see the fact that we're outside the clean air zone, and our main area and entrance, and normally where parents drop off, is inside the clear air zone, which means if your car is not compliant, effectively pre-2015 for a diesel and earlier for a petrol, it would mean that you'd be charged £8 for that day, whether that be dropping your child off or picking your child up. Clearly that's a cost that we don't want parents to have. So if you are in that situation where you believe you're not compliant and you need to drop and pick your child up, first of all, we'd encourage the use of public transport, number one. But secondly, we'll be obviously arranging some drop-off areas specifically outside and just across the road on a safe crossing to allow students to move into the academy and be dropped off there effectively. So please do come and contact us if you feel that you are affected by the clean air zone, and we will work with you to make sure it's facilitated and helps you, okay, as part of that. One of the questions that's come through now, another question coming in, I'll pass that to Miss, is that how is the curriculum different? I mentioned it before, but it may not have been picked up on, but I'll just say it again. Our curriculum is different in the fact that we run a discovery-based curriculum at Year 9, and that means that students have the opportunities to do a wealth of STEM subjects of science, technology, engineering and maths. And often we get asked, is it the fact they start their GCSEs early? And it's a bit of a yes or no, it's a hybrid question. Of course they start their GCSEs early because we're preparing them and we're putting that grounding and foundation and scaffolding their understanding through to GCSE. But equally, it's about the chance to enrich and upskill them with a huge wealth of extra knowledge and skills, especially in areas which they may not have covered in their previous education. I'm talking things like 3D design and technical drawing and hand skills. And these are all the things they would learn as part of their curriculum. And that means once they finish the end of Year 9, along with additional subjects such as accounting and finance we put on, digital skills, and for me, one of the most important subjects, Duke of Edinburgh, in which we pay for every single child in Year 9 to do Duke of Edinburgh, because it's such, I think, a fundamental opportunity for them here in the city. They would then be eligible and ready and absolutely on track to progress into their GCSEs at the end of Year 10. Another question that's come in is how much homework would we expect students to have, each week? That's a really good question, and we'd expect effectively an hour a week of homework per subject, so half an hour per subject per week, roughly, is how it works out. It's just rough because obviously some subjects you may be seeing once a week, and some subjects you may be seeing 2 or 3 times a week, so it would be between half an hour and an hour for those subjects. But effectively, I'd expect to see half an hour of homework per subject per week, which would roughly then equate to, I would say, about an hour per night of work for you to do. So that's really important, the chance, and that's key, supported through the Firefly learning platform, but equally many students choose to stay on just after school and work in our library and our facilities here and complete and get that done as well. Just linking forward then into what the next options with the GCSEs are. These are all available on our website, and also I'll make sure in the formal presentation video tomorrow I will spend time going through the slides so you can see the graphical representation of the subjects that we do at GCSE. But we do the standard GCSEs, of course, that all students have to do nationally, which include English and include maths. And in fact, you'll do 2 English qualifications, language and literature. You'll do maths qualifications. You may have the opportunity to do do an additional maths qualification like algebra or some additional moving towards level 3 maths, especially if you're in the top sets for that. Science is very different in the fact that not only do the science as a standard school, you may be aware that they offer separate sciences or triple science, and in many schools this is only available to the very top set. Here at AUEA, we believe that every student should have the access to do separate sciences, so your child will also do biology, chemistry and physics separately. On top of that then, you'll see additional specialist subjects in terms of design and technology, business, and also our new art subjects as part of that, which your child can choose to do and opt to do one of those, along with our compulsory specialist UTC subjects, including engineering, and your child would do introduction engineering all the way through to advanced engineering as part of their level 2 engineering qualification. So I know that's verbally quite hard to understand, but all of it is on our website, but more importantly, I will talk you through that slowly tomorrow and show you the diagrams as well. Anything I've missed?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think we covered everything.
So I hope tonight has been really helpful and useful to you, a little bit different, a chance to see some faces rather than just a PowerPoint slide. So I hope that's been useful. I can see that we've got at least 70 people online now watching this live. So welcome and thank you for turning up tonight and avoiding the football, which is on every channel. I hope we're more entertaining than football, but more importantly, there's lots of opportunities to get in contact and to feel very much like, which you are, a part of Aston University Engineering Academy. So have a great evening and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.